Where did you grow up?
Oh my goodness. Way up in the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont, almost into Canada. A very tiny little town called Westmore. Probably about 100, maybe 120 people in the town all year, except for summer. It's like Willoughby in the summer. And we probably have about 5,000 or 6,000 people. So that's what we did.
Did you have any horses?
Horses? Do you have horses? No, you're not the horse person. You are.
She's the horse.
She's the horse person. Well, I had a pony. It wasn't mine. We kept it for the winter for some people. I guess my brother thought he had it. He was 6 years older. And the pony didn't like my brother. So my brother would get on him, and the pony would go where pretty much he wanted to go. And he would go into, one of the things he finally did every day was go underneath my mother's clothesline, which swept my brother right off his back. And I knew this was going to happen. I was kind of little. So I'd run around and catch a pony, get on and ride the rest of the day. The pony and I had a great time. And that's where it all started. I ended up with, at Lake St. Catherine at Camp Catherine Capers, with 45 horses. So not all mine, thank goodness.
Has anything happened recently that brings you back to memories?
Of which, ponies or horses? That one did. Yeah, we had some great factors yesterday. We were talking about this. The lady said, well, I never will get on a horse. Never. They're terrible, big, mean old things. Oh, no. The fact is, we went, my daughter and I went the whole length of the state of Vermont and the bicentennial celebration of Vermont. They had a cavalcade or something like that. They went the whole length of the state. And so we got on, it started down in Pawlet, we're at the southern end of Vermont, and we rode for 17 or 18 days till we arrived in Canada. And we stayed in lots of different big fields. Some people went for the whole thing, not many. Some people went for 2 days, some people went for a week or whatever they could handle. So we took our campers, and those who wanted to go signed up for 3 days, because we could get everybody in 3 days. We did a lot of transporting people back and forth. One person did nothing but drive people. And the rest of us had fun riding. And I had a great horse named Rafferty, who was just a horse that loved the trail. And he would get behind, well, first off I said, we can't go unless we figure out how to do this. So we went to Teddy Jones over here, Bob Jones' father, and said, are you going on this trip? And he said, no, we couldn't afford it. I said, tell you what, I'll pay for your mules and the wagon if we can keep all our gear in your wagon. And that was the thing that saved the day. He said yes, so he went with us the whole time. And he left his wagon where we camped right beside it. If we had not kept our gear in that, you had to have our feet in the stirrup ready to go 8 o'clock every morning. Ooh. And if our gear was not right there, instead of in the wagon they provided, which was over there someplace on the other end of the field, you know, we would have missed it. They would have left without us. So we had a good time, except my horse did not like the speed of the whole cavalcade. So he would get up behind the wagon and push the wagon with his head, try to get us going a little faster, a little bit faster. And we had 2 big kegs of ice water and punch and stuff strapped to the wagon. So we'd when we got thirsty, we'd go up and help ourselves. And that worked really well, because you couldn't stop anywhere. Forget it if you had to go to the bathroom. A few people made it into the woods. It was a great trip, and we had a great time. Yeah. It was pretty interesting, met a lot of people. Ended up trying to take a sponge bath in one place, and Humphrey and I trying to figure out how you're going to get clean, and the dead run the whole time. And we found the backside of a milk house with a tub about this big, about this square, and water ran. So we were in there trying to figure out how to get clean. A little tub we couldn't get into. Yeah, it was a fun trip with a lot of horses. It was interesting too, because we stopped in Rutland Fairgrounds one night, and they had a vet check on all the horses, and a lot of people just grabbed the horse out of the pasture and got on, thought everything was hunky-dory. Carol's husband had a fit, and I would say probably 30 to 40 horses were disqualified right there, sent home. So that was, we were safe, we were doing things right. We learned a lot.
Was there anything or anyone that you think make your Kelly, can you read this? I can't read it.
Was there anything or anyone that you think helped make you the person you are today?
Yeah, sure. Jesus Christ and the whole Christianity was strong in my family, strong in our life. And my father and mother even translated into when everything in this country was very, very poor in the 1930s. We didn't have any money, period. And we sold our milk for whatever we could get, because I grew up on a farm. And the bank held a mortgage on our farm. Lots of farms lost, lots of people lost their farms. The bank took them over. And because my father was who he was, the bank told him that he could pay interest upon the interest and keep the farm. So it was only because of what you believe, you put your toes on your line and you can stay there. Yeah.
How much did Catherine Capers change over the years, and how?
That's an awful bad secret. We probably were freelance people when we started out. We didn't wear hard hats, we just went. I had a great horse, and now and then we had a horse race, and my horse was really good. And now and then we went where the condominium is in Wells, but then the trees were just a little taller than you. And I got kind of bored with all this stuff going around the ring, you know, and most of these kids, that's all they knew, because they came to the cities and they didn't have any trail or anything. So some afternoons I got bored with all this stuff, and I said, well, I'm going for a ride. Anybody want to come? And within minutes, they'd be on those horses. And we'd take off up behind the condominium and play hide and go seek around those trees.
Mm-hmm.
If you went up there, you'd see some strange-looking tracks where people would play tag and stuff, you know.
On horseback.
Yeah. And nobody fell off, everybody hung on. You didn't dare fall off because somebody would tag you, you'd be in. We didn't do those things in later years because it was kind of frowned upon. It was unsafe. But they didn't know kids. Kids will hang on, right? Yeah. So aside from that, yeah, there's a book about this thick of thou shalt and thou shalt not, stuff that we had to do to maintain our accreditation. And I sat on the National Accreditation Committee, so I had to do every single one of them, right? So it was fun, a challenge. Yeah. But it was well worth the trip. And a kid came back, not a kid, she was in her 50s, came back about 2 weeks ago to visit and introduced me to her husband, who she married in Egypt. And so she's some sort of engineer, and so is he, and they have these big contracts with companies. And she came back to visit camp. And she said, the biggest thing I remember, and this is embarrassing, but the biggest thing I remember is I wanted to come back early every year to help Tom creosote fence posts. Not exactly what I thought anybody would want to come back to do. Have you ever met up with creosote? It's awful stuff.
Oh, fence posts with creosote?
Yeah.
Coat it with the black stuff that,
Yeah, and it smells awful. And
Yeah, yeah.
and you get it on your clothes and
That's what she wanted to
never
do.
will come out. Never. That's the reason she wanted to come back every year, was to help Tom creosote fence posts. Well, so much for all our fancy programs. So, you know, you change them some ways, but kids don't change. You'd probably be one of those that want to come back and paint the dock or something. You know, so you think you're being smart, you know. As adults, you know, but not so smart.
What made you want to own a horse camp?
What?
What made you want to
Oh,
own
it
a
just,
horse camp?
it happened to me. It just happened. It's called part of putting your toes on the line and believing what you believe in, and learning and improving. And some people will say, I bet you wonder a little bit, what are you going to do when you grow up? Well, you're growing up right now. And what you do will happen to you if you believe in certain basic things that you cling to. And you don't have to worry about what will happen, what you're going to do. It will happen to you if you believe these things. And believe in being honest, and believe in telling truth, and, you know. So it just happened to me, actually. Plus the fact that I met a wonderful guy. And so we had a great time, great life. Spoiled. We were spoiled. Yeah.
At Catherine Keepers, what other activities were there besides horse riding?
Oh, well, we did an awful lot of camping out, and had woods and stuff for levels of that. And we did a lot of, really good swimming. Red Cross swimming. We did all levels, and our waterfront department was probably tougher than the riding department. We had kids from Glens Falls and Castleton, several towns around, to come just for the swim program, come to our day camp. And because they knew it was I would still meet up with parents who say, my kid can swim because the instructors were tough. And it's something you have to be tough about. And we did a lot of camping out. We did a little tennis. We did some riflery, because that teaches a lot of self-control. And the biggest thing I think we did was leadership. Everybody wanted to go on trips, and so we were out tripping here and there. On a weekend, pretty much, we had a group out at Class A horse shows. That's the state of Vermont, the highest horse show. And some out to local shows, and some out to just beginner shows. we had a beginner show at camp so they could start. And at the same time, there would be a trip out canoeing. There would be a trip out, maybe hiking on a long trail. So we had a huge staff that could, because you had those 2 counselors on every trip. And so we were out a lot. Tom used to call me his squaw because I was out sleeping on the ground more than I was home. It's a good life. You never know what's going to happen to you. It's a good life. Just do the things you like to do. And good things happen. We had we had sometimes, I remember coming in from a trip and I was sleepy, a little tired, and the kids said, "We got a trip all packed. We have our food, we have our utensils, we have everything. You want to go? Because we've been waiting for you." Sure, why not? As long as you've done all the figuring, you got the map, you got the first aid stuff, you got the permits, you had to have your medical form and yours and everybody else's, which was supposed to be private. Yeah, well, nothing was, because they would go into the nurse's office and ask for them and have them their own copies. And so that wasn't private ever. The only time you ever looked at it was when you had to get into the first aid kit for a Band-Aid. Even then you didn't. So we had an awful lot of fun. You couldn't get out on a trip without being part of the planning part of the organization. You had to step forth. One of our best campers was someone you know very well, Nancy Carmen Bryant. Mrs. Bryant, you remember Mrs. Bryant? Well, when she came to camp, she didn't sit around like these folks are. She went off and hid, kind of real quiet, never said a word. Never said a word. In a group, she'd be behind the group peeking at around people's heads. And after a little bit of telling her she had to take charge of something, what are we going to eat on this trip? Well, Nancy, you figure it out. And she would panic, but she figured it out. And she got, so as you know her, full of it, fine and full of doing things. So that was good.
I have a question for you. How do you feel the role of women has changed since you were a little girl? Or has it, in your mind?
I don't think it ever did to me because there was no thought about whether you were a woman or a boy or a man or whatever. You just did what there was to do and you did it. And I didn't really make, in our circumstance, because we were on a farm and my folks couldn't hire people, but we had to figure out which cows were worth keeping and which weren't. And so my father gave me the herd management at 12 years old. I had to know which cow was paying off. And we had 2 beautiful Jerseys that stood in the barn side by side. And I thought, boy, they're just the greatest. And I ran the test on them. One was making money, one was losing money, big time. And I looked at them and looked at them and looked at them. And I had won the 4-H thing of, judging the shape and all this stuff is supposed to tell you whether the animal's worth it. And they were just great. So I said, I made a mistake on that test. So I did it again, came out the same. So lots of times you look at life and it looks just rosy until you really find out the whole truth. Whether it's on 4 legs or whether it is. It's very, but I don't really know in our instance whether it made any difference. We were in survival mode and you did what you did. And you better get it done. I guess that's part of it, you know. Well, we had a lot of fun because I ran playing cards. I can remember playing cards at 2 o'clock in the morning, get up at 6 and be on at work. Many nights. My mother was the leader of the pack. My father would tell stories. We said he had the stories he'd tell in the house, and there were stories he could only tell in the bar. Then he never ran out of stories.
What card games did you play?
Hearts, usually. Didn't make any difference how many people were there, you know.
What was your longest horse ride?
That one from the state, for the length of the state of Vermont. Although I went on lots of rides, I don't know, all the way up around East Wells, up in that there are tremendous amounts of trails. And that was the time when the people up there, canals and those people, kept all those trails open. Well, when it cost them so much money to keep them open, we tried. And it cost us $3,000 to $4,000 every spring just to keep the trees out of the trails. So that kind of put a crimp in our program. But we have a 7-day horseback trip. We left from camp and went up through Wells and through Pawlet and through Rupert and back through Washington County, New York, and back through West Pawlet. And you weren't there then.
Past my house?
Yeah, yeah, we went past your house a lot.
Right, that's my house.
What's his name? Who had a farm in Pawlet. We get permission every time we went, you know. He'd call up, he said, only if you're going to be there between, you can stay at our place, but he says, have the campfire going between 4 and 7. I said, that's easy. He said, and have your dinner, have my dinner ready. So he came to dinner every time. So we got so. I remember a kid like you cooking on a fire alongside me. I don't know what I was cooking, but every now and then she'd reach down and turn the kettle a little bit. Not much, still. She had it next to a rock. What she'd do, every little while she'd turn it a little. When we got all done, she took her cover off. She had the most beautiful cake.
Wow.
Just perfect. So these kids, a lot of them came with a lot of camping experience. So we took some chances. One bunch of canoe people had the canoes all full of going over to the state park for overnight or something. And the wind was whipping down the lake. Waves were like so. And they said, we can't do this. We're not going to get there. I said, well, if you try, you're going straight into the waves, straight to the state park. If you don't make it, you're going to get washed right back here. So they tried and they made it. Because they decided they were a little dead, but they got there.
How many horses did you have?
Oh my goodness, I don't know. I have a whole file of horse names and records and a file about this long. Yeah. Lots of different horses over the 50 years we were at it a long time.
I was just gonna ask, what was the opening year? When did you start
Oh, we
the camp?
didn't have it because it happened to us.
Mhm.
We didn't have an opening.
But I mean, when were you, did you start being involved?
Probably, I graduated from college in 1951, and I was sort of camping out with kids because my parents took, well, when we were kids, we went out and lived in a tent for the summer, so our bedrooms could be rented out, so we could help pay bills.
For the lake people?
So all those people brought kids with them, and so I was the one to show the kids around, do things with them. And so it sort of happened to me. So probably the first year, we built a bunkhouse and had kids stay, families come stay, had kids stay, families had other things they had to do. So that probably happened in about 1953. Tom and I were married in 1954, and he was gracious enough to pick out the right guy, you guys. Okay. It's important to pick out a good guy when you're married. Very important. He was gracious enough to say, well, camp sort of started, so let's keep it going. So we moved to Lake St. Catherine, bought the cottage that we have there at the lake from Mrs. Keller in Granville in December, and we didn't have any land across the road. Well, some of you may remember the Weinberg brothers in Granville. Gene does. Well, they owned all the land between Lake St. Catherine and Granville, all of it. And they never sold a piece, none. But Harry, one of the brothers, liked to ride horseback. And Tom didn't, but he went riding with Harry to kind of get him to agree that we were not awful full. So on June 13th of that year, 55, we signed the contract of the deed. And at about 10 o'clock in the morning, at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Tom was on a bulldozer with a compass in his hand, driving up through the woods, creating the road to the hill. He made that road with that compass.
Coming up on that anniversary, June 13th. We're coming right up on it this week.
Yeah.
That'll be, how many, 1955 you said?
Yeah.
So that, wow.
60 years.
Yeah, that's
So
wonderful.
we had a good life. It was great because he wasn't interested in the program. He was an engineer, right? Not interested in the program, but when the Board of Health people told you you've got to do your water system this way and your septic system this way, we knew that at Lake St. Catherine, all around that immediate area, everything is clay. So if you put it in according to the state standards, it won't work. Because clay forms like a earthen jug, you know. There's no water going through anything that's there, it stays there. So when they were out of sight, we didn't put it down in the clay, we put it down about a foot where there's still dirt. And we had various little branches going off into the woods, which they to this day don't know anything about because they're worms. So if you don't do that, you can't make it work.
Did you have a favorite horse?
Oh, a lot of them. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, a real lot. Yeah. I rode a different horse for whatever we were doing, you know, trail riding or showing. Or I had a horse named Gypsy that I had when I was teaching school in the Boston area. And she was the smartest thing going. I could put an English saddle on and go in and win the equitation class with her. And come back out, and they wouldn't have enough entries in the Western class. So I put a Western saddle on, we'd go and win that one. She knew more than most of us. But you don't run across that kind of horse too often.
Was Aunt Eunice your cook for a long time?
Oh yeah, Aunt Eunice. She was cooking the school here for
That's right,
a long
yeah.
time, and that was the only thing my husband did that was not good. He hired her to work in his office, away from being cook for accident.
Oh.
But that was all right. She needed it, so, yeah. She made famous donuts. And she would fry donuts and the smell would go right up the hill at camp. Everybody in camp knew donuts were there. So everybody all of a sudden had to be down to the main house. By the time we got around for breakfast for donuts, there weren't any. Everybody had eaten them all. She was a great cook, great lady.
As a little girl, what was your favorite book?
Favorite book? I don't really know. Is it a kid's book or an adult book? I didn't get much chance to do much reading. Some, I think, Alice in Wonderland books were kind of fun. Some of the Hardy twins, they were kind of adventuresome.
You went to, where did you go to college? Did you say you went
I
in
was
Boston?
at Sargent College, which is part of Boston University.
So how did you get from growing
From
up
there.
on a farm and taking boarders in and having, those tough times? And my mother also grew up in Lindenville on a farm, so right down the road from you. How did that happen, going from there to going to college in Boston?
Lake Willoughby had a lot of really nice families that came back year after year. One lady named Harriet Fish, who was at one point president of the United States Girl Scouts, and she knew of a couple who their kids had all graduated from college and moved on. She said they really need someone to help out. So I didn't go to college for the year after high school, and so we talked to them, and so I ended up living with them for 2 years in Belmont, Mass, and sweep a walk down there, or dust the house down there. I didn't earn my keep.
They were generous.
Yes, great folks. And then they decided to move and did near their kids, and so I got a job because the senior was just moving out of the job. I moved into the job of living in the nurses' home. All the student nurses had like a big dormitory. Could live there for $75. Now I worked at the hospital. There was a mental hospital, McLean Hospital, in Waverly, Mass. I got paid $75 a month. I was the richest kid. Boy, I thought that was great. And board room and $75 a month. And at that point, we only were supposed to work 20 hours a week, which is doable. But then all the nurses took off for the Korean War. Next thing we knew, we were working 30, 35 hours a month. And, but we made it until finally my mother put her foot down my senior year in college. And she said, no more of this, you're going to move into a dormitory and be a real college student. So I said, well, how are you going to do that? Well, we're going to the bank and we'll come back with the money. So we did.
Wow,
She was one of the people that
made it happen.
did. So with a big smile, at the banker, she came back with the money.
And what did you study? I'm sorry.
Pardon me?
What did you study in school?
Health and physical education, health sciences, and anatomy, physiology of activity, kinesiology, all those things you're supposed to remember forever.
So when you taught, were you a physical education teacher? When you
Yes,
mentioned
I
you
was.
taught?
At the same time, they couldn't afford, well, I did my, this was part of what happens to you too. I was assigned to the Dana Hall schools for my practice teaching experience. So I was at 10 Acre, and that was pretty exciting because while I was there, Maria, doctor, tell me, I've lost you,
Maria Von Trapp.
Maria Von Trapp?
Maria Von Trapp was there, because she had escaped from Austria, and all the kids were there, and they were, to keep alive, they were doing tours in the United States singing, and so, of course, playing recorders. And so everybody in our school began singing and playing recorders because they came back there to regroup and then they went off again. So it was pretty exciting with them around. So the teacher, the headmistress, Margaret Thatcher, Asher was her name. She had a vision way beyond her years, and she decided that she wanted me to stay on to after graduating, which I didn't know anybody was going to hire me with 2 left feet, so I took the job. So I had board and room to work night and day. So I listened to these people talk about the hours they work, and I never worked by the hour, ever. And I look at them and wonder what.
I used to teach at boarding school too, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You just do what you do, and because they didn't have that much money to give me, in her mind, which was only $2,700 all told, I taught writing too, and physical ed, and I taught health and sex education, and then no textbook. Well, that was different. But her philosophy was that these little girls, well, many of these kids were in the 4th grade, and because it was right after the war, their parents were over in Europe, rebuilding Europe, because we bombed it all to pieces, and the kids didn't have schools, there was no American school there, because it hadn't been created. So these kids couldn't go with their parents to Europe, so they were here with us in the school, probably 15 or 20 of them. And this bothered Miss Asher, because the house mothers then were lovely, lovely ladies. I don't know, maybe you might have a great-grandmother or somebody that believed in white gloves and tea parties. Well, would you like to go to a tea party with white gloves every afternoon?
I'm guessing that wasn't your style.
She said, we have to do something about this. She says, I'm buying a little piece of land down here in the woods towards Wellesley Hills. She said, could you make a campsite down there with these kids and let them get dirty? So, sure, that's easy. So these things happen to you. I don't know why. They just do. So never in my life did I expect any of this to happen.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Did you build Catherine Capers, or did you have somebody else?
Well, we bought the land, and after Tom followed the compass, yeah, we built it. These kids that were at that school, they didn't have anywhere to go in the fall, in the summer, so they came with me. And they knew Tom, and everybody was happy. So it just happened. So fact is, we had about 12 of them signed up, parents, and decided and paid us some tuition that they decided was about right for the summer for those kids. And we didn't even have any land to do it. We said, no, we can't do this. We don't have any property to do this. And they said, oh, you will. You will. So we did. But it was pretty strange. The garage, if you ever go to Lake St. Catherine, there's a sign up there that says Camp Catherine Capers. That was a garage. When we first bought that garage, bought that property, there was a little cement walk that went around the backside. So I decided to follow the cement walk. And I got to a point where there was a door in the back of the garage, and I opened the door, and here in front of me was a 3-holer. Can you imagine going to the bathroom with 2 other people sitting in? We've come a long ways there. I don't know whether we've come a long ways or regressed, but we're different. But anyway, we didn't have any place, any horse barn or anything. So we had 10 horses, and we had them all in that garage. We didn't have any place to put the manure, so we had garbage cans, and we shoveled into the garbage cans. We had an old station wagon, put the garbage cans in the station wagon, go to the wells, dump it.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
How old was your oldest horse?
How old was what?
Your oldest horse.
Oh, I don't know, we had a couple, 25 or so. Yeah. We had some real devoted horses that, no matter whether it was a 6th class of the day or the 1st class of the day, they'd go around that ring with their head up and happy as could be, teach a kid out the rhythm of posting and cantering and never blink an eyelash all day long. And those horses got a college education, so they went over to Dartmouth and troop for the winter.
Oh,
We called him Woody, and they called him something else. But Woody went miles. Taught a lot of kids instead of bumping along, taught them the rhythm. So most horses are teachable when they're 10, 12, 14. Because they know the ropes and they know more than we do.
Oh, yes.
We had one Palomino who was kind of pokey. She taught kids pretty good, but one time at the national clinic, we had a national clinic in May every year for instructors and instructor ratings and national rating instructors and all that. So that was a nerve-wracking thing because we had to do everything to sew. And one girl wanted to learn to ride Western. We didn't have anything really, so we put her on this Palomino who was sort of pokey and went along. But the minute that Western saddle went on that mare, she perked up, and she was a Western horse all the rest of that day. And she did everything just right. She spun and she did this.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody could believe it,
She had it in her.
but it was there. Then we had another horse, a bay mare, who was just an ordinary bay mare. And we let her stay for the winter over at a nice farm in Pawlet. The people are no longer there, so yeah, I'm not going to use their name. But the horse was there all winter, came back in the spring, and I looked at that horse, and that horse is different. That mare is a whole different mare. And one of the other instructors who'd been with us 2 or 3 years said, "That's a different horse." And I said, "You think so?" Yeah. I said, "I've been thinking that for several days." Didn't move quite right, didn't do quite right, wasn't quite the same. So we did a little nosing around over in Pawlet. Come to find out, our mare that we had sent to them got very sick in the winter and died. They never told us, so they bought another bay mare. Looked just like her. They never said a word to us, and we never said a word to them.
Worked out.
So lots of things happened in life.
That's great.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Well,
It's probably time.
probably time for you to be doing. You guys are great.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
A lot of crazy stuff comes to mind. We did a lot of real fun things. I remember one little girl. We had a big sign-up sheet. Every afternoon you signed up for what you wanted to do. And she stood outside that center, and she could not move. So I finally went out and said, "The problem here is something's not up there that you wanted to do." She said, "No." Then what's wrong? And she said, "Well, I can't make up my mind unless I call my mother and ask her which one she wants me to do." I said, "You're here because you're to make your own fun. And we're not going to call you Mom because Mom wants you to decide for yourself." And she did finally. And after that, she was a ball of fire. Really. So that's what we really did. Kids. Hopefully help kids.
Thank you.
Oh, that growing up.
It's about growing up and